What is going on, everybody? My name is Kirby Downey,
I'm Jonny Harrison.
and welcome to the episode 50, Johnny, already.
I know. Matt in the chat's making it sound like we are 50.
Yeah. For anyone that wants to join us this evening and jump into the chat, you're more than welcome to. We've already got Dan Riffle. How are you doing tonight, Dan?
Doing well. How are you guys?
Good.
We are not too bad. I've got a question for you, Dan, straight off the bat. Do you still have those glasses?
Those glasses.
Dude, I stumbled across an amazing video on my desktop last week.
Yeah, I know what's coming up.
I've still got the
mate.
I've still got the sound somewhere.
Awesome.
There it is. we should post that. Johnny,
Yeah.
you could actually upload that onto here.
Hey, you know what? Let me see if I can dig it out for you. Just because you asked nicely.
How's things in Colorado for you, Dan?
Hectic at the moment. We're kind of in the thick of the semester, so I'm busy pushing back on the frontiers of knowledge every day. And I'm in the middle of a remodel project at my house, so that's always a huge complicating factor.
Oh, good fun. Remodeling is always fun. It's quite stressful, but it's when you see it all coming together bit by bit. When we redid our bathroom, it was just like, I was like, okay, cool, you can start now. And 10 minutes in, he was ripping things off the wall. I was like, no turning back now. I have no clue how it's going to end up, but it's turned out very well, and it's quite a satisfying feeling.
Yep, I'm about a week, maybe 2 weeks out from being done with that. So
Fair enough. You hung out much with Heather since she's moved there?
I haven't, but she's also been traveling a lot since she's gotten here. So
Yeah, she's in the UK at the moment. We're going to go see her tomorrow.
yeah.
So we'll send your regards as well. Those watching, we have a little segment here called What Are We Drinking? Dan,
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you've seen this. We're going to play a little jingle, and we'll talk about what we're drinking tonight.
See?
Yeah, your coffee. Where's the button? Button. There it is. Shing. What are they drinking? So, what are you drinking tonight, Dan? Well, this afternoon for you.
Well, this afternoon. So you go first. I have a couple of things immediately available.
Oh, Johnny, I'll let you go.
Oh, dude, I've got a selection tonight. For the 50th, I've got 5 beers.
Oh,
I've got a pale ale, a grapefruit pale ale, hang on, a tropical hazy pale ale, a fruitopolis pale ale, and a New England IPA.
oh, fancy. Sean O'Neill is drinking a Panera infused lemonade, 0%
Panera.
ABV. What have you got, Dan?
I have a Light Shine Helles from a local brewery.
Very nice. Johnny, I've also got a selection tonight.
Oh, nice. We're going all out.
So I've got some Brewdog Elvis juice. There's actually a story about Elvis juice I found out recently. I've got some Camden Pale Ale. And because I knew there'll be some Americans here with us, I got Budweiser.
You've just insulted half of America. Well done.
It's a good to clean the palate.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I mean, Dan, do you know that Johnny and I have shares in Brewdog?
I think everyone knows.
Yeah.
But I was listening to a interview about the bloke who started Brewdog, and he was telling about they actually got into trouble for Elvis juice. Basically, the people in charge of Elvis's estate came after them and said, you cannot use Elvis's name on your products. So what the owners of Brewdog did is they legally changed their names to Elvis and then sent a cease and desist to Elvis's estate saying they're not allowed to use their name on their products.
There's a local
we got-
brewery that's called Hogshead here, and the big brewery in Colorado is Coors, right? So
Yeah.
they decided that they wanted to make a a clone of Coors Banquet. So they called it Coors, Kohrs, instead of Coors.
Smart.
And then, well, yeah, but then Big Coors yelled at Little Coors and said, "No, you need to knock that off. It's fun and all, but you need to knock that off." So they changed the name to Banquet, and then Big Coors was like, "No, too close." So I think they in the end changed it to Ballroom.
No, fair enough.
Mm.
Mr.
Dan
Wagner, how
Wagner.
you doing?
Gentlemen, congrats on the big 50 here.
Yeah, 50
Thanks.
episodes. Took us
So
a
we
while.
look good for our age.
Yeah. Oh, Mr.
Tad.
Todd Lecture.
happening?
Chad.
Everybody's drinking. Brandon says he's got Viceroy brandy and Coke. Dan, Todd, what are you guys drinking?
I got water.
Nice.
I'm drinking a fine passion fruit sparkling water. It's really good.
Anyone would think it was like, 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
It's 1 o'clock for me.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you could call it lunch.
Yeah.
Sean's claiming I'm drinking a Four Loko. It's not a Four Loko, Sean. Or maybe he's talking about Dan Riffle. Dan, maybe you're drinking a Four Loko.
No, I'm not. I am drinking White Shine Hellas from Ruby.
Good for you, man.
1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Hey, we're
Nice
celebrating.
job.
Yeah.
I mean,
so-
it's the advantage of working at a university, I think. Because all the students are drinking, you can get away with it as well.
Yeah, they won't notice.
Most of the time.
Kirby, I've actually uploaded Dan's amazing intro video for you to our brand page.
Oh, nice.
What video, Johnny? I'm sorry.
Oh, wait.
That's
Not
about
you,
22
Dan. Other
seconds.
Dan. You're lucky this time.
Enjoy it. Oh, there he is.
This is amazing.
Oh, Dan, look at you.
Oh,
Wait, this is like a 90s music video.
Yeah, get
Oh
the
my
chain on.
God. What?
Dan Riffle.
That's amazing.
That's great. I mean, I've still got all those sounds on you.
I honestly found so much good stuff on my desktop last week when I was tidying it up.
I was actually tidying up my desktop the other day. I was deleting all my games.
How are you guys? Aren't you traveling for the event tomorrow? For the
Nah, tomorrow morning.
Yeah, we'll worry about that. That's tomorrow. That's tomorrow's Kirby's problem.
Yeah.
that's- okay, I was assuming you guys were going to be together today for that.
No.
No, we didn't think that far ahead.
No.
It would have worked well.
It would have worked well.
Are you guys staying overnight where
Yeah.
that event is? Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, because we'll be getting in at like 12 o'clock midday. Then the event starts at 4, and that's going to go on till like 6 or 7.
Awesome.
Then we'll just go to the bar after that.
Yeah. Me and Kirby are traveling half the country tomorrow, guys. You should really have some. It's going to take me all of 2 hours.
Half the country.
Yeah, it takes me 4 hours to drive, but I decided I'm going to take the train. It's a bit easier. I can play on my Switch. Maybe watch some movies. Andor's out today. So that's going to be...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how many episodes they released.
There was a new documentary about Jeffrey Dahmer that came out on Netflix today.
I saw that. I don't know who that is. But I did see the...
He's one of our many famous serial killers.
The actor who's playing Jeffrey Dahmer, he's the one from American Horror Story. Is that correct?
I don't know that, Dan. That's interesting.
Yeah, I think he's been in American Horror Story every season.
Okay.
Um,
Because I fell off after I haven't caught the last 2 seasons because it just started getting really weird.
Yeah, it's weird, that's for sure.
I think I only watched the first season.
even this, I watched the first 20 minutes this morning, and I was like, this is too much. I can't. This is way too... It's a lot for me. It's a lot for me. I'm a big wimp, you know?
A bit scared.
Yeah.
I feel like we got to try find some sort of like horror activity to do with that. Dan, if you come to London, there's lots of those type of like Tower Bridge experience and that where people chase you with chainsaws.
Ah, I see.
Good fun.
That's interesting.
We can just go to Nebraska for that.
That's what we do.
That's right.
Yeah, when we went to London, I think we landed on Halloween, and then we were still there through Guy Fawkes Day.
5th of November.
That was kind of cool.
Yeah, Guy Fawkes is. It's kind of like the UK 4th of July, but instead we're like celebrating a terrorist.
Pretty much.
With a big fire.
It is. He tried to blow up our government, but we all, let off a load of fireworks from him.
Strange.
Nowadays, we wouldn't, but,
How times have changed.
How times have changed.
So what, Dan, what are you doing this week instead of coming to the UK?
Many things. So tomorrow is back to school night. It's pretty fascinating. Our son started in 1st grade, so this is like, it's weird him having actual school now that we have to go to back to school night for and do homework for and like all these things we never had before. So that's kind of interesting. We're also planning a huge 40th birthday party for my brother, my older brother. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Surprise! TJ, it's not this week. By the way, if you're watching this.
Oh damn. Oh damn.
I don't know if he's one of your subscribers.
I doubt it.
And Johnny, but
I mean, would he watch?
probably not.
Thanks, Dan.
Anyway, so yeah, I got a lot going on, but.
So you're free this weekend then, yeah?
Well, yeah, I guess so. I'll jump on a plane. I'll see you guys this weekend.
Ish.
Yeah, if you can still make it.
Yeah, if you leave now, you'd be here just.
For me, if I'm going to do this UK trip, and we will do this, right? I definitely want to do this soon. I want to make like a 4 or 5 day thing out of it. Like, stay there, be able to, because I think the only reasonable flight for me was flying to Ireland and then jumping from Ireland.
Yeah, it's usually kind of like the go-to.
We've done the Philly flight. Don't forget.
Have you done the direct, Johnny? Is that what it is?
What did we do, Kirby? Can't remember. It was that bad.
Yeah, we were supposed to fly through New York. Our flight got cancelled because first class's intercom system didn't work. So I lost my my premium economy upgrade that I was given. We then sat at the airport for 5 hours getting drunk, and got on a plane to Philly where we had a 45-minute layover.
Okay.
We nearly missed the flight as well because we were getting too drunk.
That's not much of a layover.
Mm-mm.
Well, I mean, it's an international layover, so we got to go through customs as well.
Oh,
Dude, it was really tight.
What was really annoying is that we organized that we were the first ones off the plane, and we ran up the gate, along the gates, got to the front where the door was closed, where we stood there waiting for everybody to catch up to us to finally have the woman who opened the door trundle along and finally catch up to us and open up to us out of breath.
Todd, you just went through 5 airports to go like 100 miles. What the hell?
I saw something about that.
Yeah.
So what it was I was flying up to Boston for Slug Me, and I pushed my return flight back a few days so I could dip down to South Carolina to see my folks. So I booked a set of round-trip tickets from Boston to South Carolina, and then Tuesday was the day that I went from South Carolina back up to Boston to catch my return flight from Slug Me to get home. But each one of those had a connection, so it was, Greenville, DC, Boston, Chicago, Lincoln.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Why don't you just drive it?
Yeah. It probably would have been faster.
Sal,
yeah,
how
I
you
could have
doing?
driven you. Hey, Sal.
Good. Hey, guys.
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad.
In hindsight, Todd, I probably should have just driven you south when I was, leaving. It would have been faster for you.
Well, and if I would have been smart, I would have been like, hey, can I have my return flight be from South Carolina to Lincoln, and then just buy the ticket from Boston to South Carolina? But that idea came after everything else had happened. So it was like, oh, I might stretch this out and sit down and see the folks. It'll be fine.
How was the end of Slug Me and that, the wrap up of it? How did, like, your side of it? How did you feel about the success of it?
I thought it was good. I thought it was really good. It, as usual, was a ton of fun. And as usual, there's already ideas like grinding away for next year. But yeah, it was really rough. The funny part was, looking back on it, when Jose was up there talking, I'm like looking right at him. He's looking right at me. And we're both just like starting to well up and trying to keep it together.
Yeah. That was great having Jose actually there, and like you said,
that made it.
Made the trip out that way.
Yep.
Kind of like trying to do a Joe Lance.
I don't know if we really told this story live, Todd, but like I ordered the Slug Me 7. I don't have one right now. The Slug Me 7 shirts, and they were like $900 from Custom Ink to get them in time. Long story short, we didn't get them in time. They showed up a day late. And my wife, shout out to my wife. We never gave her a shout out, Todd. She also let me know that live on, like, hey, I didn't really hear a shout out to me.
Everybody else thanked their wives.
Yeah. She went overnighted because they showed up at my house that I had already left to drive up to Waltham. They showed up later that day. So she went and overnighted them Friday night, and they were there like 12 hours later in Waltham, which is pretty crazy. So we got them the next morning. But long story short, Custom Ink refunded us all the money. Like, just we got the shirts, they gave all us all the money back, and they covered the voucher to overnight them. They gave us like a gift card for that cost to overnight them.
That's good.
Yeah.
What's the company called?
CustomInk.com.
Custom Ink. Yeah, go check them out.
Yeah, go check
The
them
bee's
out.
knees.
They're awesome.
Yeah, they're pretty good. So in my mind, I was like, well, now we have that. That was approved, the budget, and I have that. So yeah, let's just get Jose out here, last minute, and have him be here in person. So
Yeah, it worked out quite well then.
yeah, that was cool.
No, it was really nice to actually have him there and chatting about it with you guys.
For sure. Yeah.
Because, Jonny and I chatted with you after our video, but I think having Jose there had a bigger impact.
It did. It was great to catch up with you guys, though, too, live. And, like, you asked, like, how did we feel at the end of it? Like, one thing we all said was, like, I'm not tired. Like, we don't feel, like, completely exhausted. And, I feel like this went on forever.
You don't feel like you just stayed up for 24 hours?
Yeah, exactly.
No slurred speech.
Although 24 hours was that was
it was epic.
That was awesome.
That was epic, man. Just in terms of, like, I've been looking at the analytics for the live stream and working on some recaps, and the duration for Slug Me 6 was 25 hours and 22 minutes, and Slug Me 7 was 6 hours and 47 minutes, so significantly shorter, right? But we had way more peak concurrent viewers, way more live views, way more. What blew me away, way more live messages. Like, I figured Slug Me 6, the messages would be more. It was stretched out over 24 hours. We had 4,000 live messages in Slug Me 7, so like a huge increase.
Well, it's just so rapid fire. It was crazy.
Yeah, Dan's after your job, Sean.
Sean reached out and offered, like, hey, maybe we could do some co-streams during World do some co live streams for Solidworks Live. So
I mean, it'll make sense to do like small like user groups from around the world.
yeah, for sure.
Good way to feature them and get a broader audience. Because I mean, from 3D Experience World being on as a virtual thing, that really expanded.
Yep.
Kind of like people's knowledge of the user group network, and might as well just use that channel as well to promote those networks that have started popping up in different parts of the world.
Yep. Another cool thing, and shout out to Ian for putting this stuff together. Another cool thing Ian did is overlay the chat messages on top of the sessions, and you could see the spikes in the messages during the Keystone. So of course, like during the Keystone sessions, all of the chats were like spike. People were asking more questions and making more comments. And, you can see when people were engaged. But then also, Kirby and Johnny, there's a big spike for the Europe session as well. Like, I know you're not seeing my screen here, but there's a big spike in like dead center of the European session also.
Oh, that's good.
Cool.
Because I mean, with the pre-recorded stuff, people can't really ask that many questions or anything like that. But when it's live, people are getting their questions answered.
Well, one of the things that I always hope for is like if it's pre-recorded, that means that you could be in the chat and people could actually be chatting with you during your presentation.
Yeah, that is cool.
Come on.
Yeah, I tried to do that with my one during Slug Me 7, but I felt that like people were watching at different rates, and quite often my comment could get drowned quite quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the tricky part to try and go from live to pre-recorded.
Who's running a CNC machine or something? It sounds like something
It
crazy.
sounds like a didgeridoo.
My money's on Sal.
No, I
He's
wish I
looking
were
guilty.
running it. I'm going to do that in a minute. Going over to the lab to work on some magic wheelchair.
How's your build coming along?
Good. We're in the final crunch. Our reveal is in 2 weeks, just over 2 weeks. So we're in lots of painting and sanding and
Wow.
late nights.
So it's all coming together, which is good.
Yeah, it'll be a great reveal. Yeah.
Yeah, we end of the month we're gonna chat with Stacy again.
Yeah.
Preston's got his surgery booked in for October, so we'll figure out when that is and then catch up again once he's had his surgery and start planning the build.
Excellent.
But by the looks of it, he won't need a new wheelchair. Basically, his surgery is to widen his hips, so the wheelchair needs to be wider, but he's quite small already. I could probably find whose mic is angry.
Is it mine?
It's not Sal. Let's see if it's Todd. No, it's not Todd. Dan? No.
Not
Dan.
Wagner.
Oh, it's Dan Riffle. Oh,
Oh, it is?
Guilty.
Interesting.
Dude, he's just
I
it's his
literally have
intro.
nothing going on here. It's just like the machine in my brain that's making the noise. I
Well,
can't hear. I can't.
it's actually gone now, so I think it was just reverb through the speakers.
Oh.
So it was just the silence that was the problem.
Yeah,
Definitely.
there we go.
Definitely, yeah.
Right.
Well, what is everybody's plans this weekend?
I've already let the cat out of the bag on my end, so I'm just hoping my
Hey,
older
you-
brother doesn't watch this live stream.
Yeah, otherwise you're in big trouble.
Well, here,
if
I
you
know
haven't heard, Dan is hosting a surprise birthday for his brother.
my older brother, yeah.
Dude, we're not meant to just repeat it constantly
Yeah.
to help you hear unless he just randomly clicks. Why don't we just rename the episode?
Yeah,
So,
let's just
it-
post this on social media.
yeah, post this out, tag him if you can. So it's kind of an interesting thing. So the surprise party is at his house, and his wife, my sister-in-law, says, "Can you get him out of the house for a little while?" And I was like, "Okay." So I reached out to him, said, "Hey, we're gonna take you on a brewery tour for your birthday." He's turning 40. Take him on a brewery tour for his birthday, and take him around a few different places during the day. She's like, hey, that's awesome, that's great, but like he can't get hammered. Like you can't bring him back like completely incoherent. So we need to somehow manage that. During the
Yeah, Matt says YouTube will suggest the video for you.
Yeah, thanks, Matt Clegg. Yeah. So that's my task for the day: is taking him out, having some fun, but not too much fun.
Yeah, maybe brewery tour isn't a good choice then.
I agree, Dan. I'm kind of regretting that now, but
you should try and like for example, where I work, there's a brewery in the same industrial complex, but they're non-alcoholic brewery. So try and find non-alcoholic breweries to go to, and then don't tell him and see how drunk he gets.
That's called a coffee shop. That's called a coffee.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think we have those here.
No,
really.
yeah, we don't.
I was gonna say I think you're on the wrong channel, Kirby. We're not.
Yeah, I mean,
You know what I mean? Like really.
maybe
dude?
if there was a Budweiser in Boston, that'd be the closest.
Yeah.
I've actually been enjoying non-alcoholic alcohol recently.
Kirby.
Like
What the hell?
if I go to a work event and I'm driving, if I just drink non-alcoholic beer, I feel like I'm having a good time rather than just sitting there with my glass of Coke. It really kind of makes you, even though you're not getting drunk, but that taste of beer just keeps you kind of enjoying the vibe.
That's
Is it? Because
Go
I
ahead,
just
Johnny.
think there's something wrong. Like, why am I not getting drunk? Am I that much of like an alcoholic now, or?
Well, Brandon says non-alcoholic brewery is just a juice factory.
That's like, yeah, you're making tea at that point.
Yeah.
We got Chinlu in the house.
Hey guys.
Hey,
Hey,
Chandler.
Chinlu, Dan's hosting a surprise birthday for his brother this weekend. Don't tell
I don't know
anyone.
if you've heard.
Don't tell anybody. Yeah.
Nice.
Don't tell him.
I'm not very good with secrets.
I can tell. Wow. Yeah.
How are you doing, Chinlu? You're stressed for your reveal in 2 weeks?
Yes, we're so stressed. Did Sal already tell you? We were in this extremely stressful call just now. Everyone's like so silent out of just pure petrifying fear that we can't deliver.
I've got
Like-
a question. Are you
Go
two
for it,
set
Johnny.
opposite each other?
What's that?
No,
You set opposite
she's
each other. I'm confused. The shelf looks too similar.
That's that's cookie cutter
It's the
offices
same
for you.
furniture.
Hers are more interesting. Stuff on her shelves.
I mean, I can do this, and it'll.
There you go.
Oh, like that. Yeah, that's good. That's really
Go like
good.
this, Chandler, or this way. That's fine.
Well, Chidler and Sal, you know what we could do as backup? We just fly Kirby and Johnny over here, and they can help you guys get across the finish line. Any last minute
Yeah.
sanding?
There you go.
I don't know.
Yeah, we don't do much sanding though.
No, I was going to say your quality of finish might be better than ours.
Yeah, it's amazing how many Type A engineers there are on our team. It's quite frustrating.
We had a curveball thrown at us for this build without revealing much. We need to get the wheelchair and the costume over uneven terrain, terrain that the wheelchair itself can't navigate without the front wheels kind of digging in. So in addition to building the costume, we're building a wagon of sorts to put the costume and the wheelchair on that will be able to take the terrain. So that was the last minute, like, so a little extra part of the
Yeah,
build.
good old curveball. I mean, like, Johnny and I know very well that kind of feeling of, like, leading up to it. Is it going to be successful? Is it going to work? Are you going to finish? But
Is it
it's,
gonna
when
fall
you do
apart?
finish it and you do, like, take that cloth off and the family's all smiling and happy and you get your first chance to step back and watch other people appreciate it. That's when you really appreciate it and you start to realize, no, you've done well.
Yeah, it's not like you can just hand your client a form and say, hey, this is an engineering change order. So you're going to need to fill this out and agree to this before we can proceed.
We're turning it into a quadcopter.
That's right.
I mean, as Matt Clegg says, we need more budget to include a secondary hovercraft.
A hovercraft.
I am
yeah.
beyond game to build a hovercraft. Like, sign me up.
I've looked at it. It is hard.
Yeah.
You need more lawnmower engines.
I was looking to do like a little remote controlled one, and it was just basically turn a drone into a hovercraft, and my brain didn't do it. I was like, no.
We'll
It
figure it
wasn't
out.
very easy. It's just way too much to. It was mostly because the little drone's motors was too powerful, so I couldn't. If I suck too much air in, it'll just fly down, basically.
I
Yeah, it
like Matt. He's not used to Solidworks' legal team yet.
Matt's, you know, in the user advocacy department, we're more of like a beg for forgiveness type group.
Good.
Of
So,
folks, you know?
so are me and Kirby.
Yeah, I mean, although we couldn't get away with flying a jet suit as Master Chief, we tried to organize that.
Yeah, someone spilled the beans.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it was more that we're in the flight path of the main airport.
Times he's mentioned the surprise party.
I know. I'm really bad at secrets. Yeah.
Yeah, it became a bit tricky because it was more they needed to inform the local airport that we're going to fly someone, and kind of that's where brakes was put down. We're like we can't we can't ask for forgiveness out of this kind of situation.
I would agree. That's probably a lot.
Like, what's the code? Like, at what height above ground are you flying somebody? Like, would Michael Jordan have to?
Well, I mean, it's because we're using jet engines.
Okay. I see.
Yeah. Describe a time when you've said sorry and it worked. The time that we crashed someone's retirement party with a magic wheelchair.
But it was also great. I'm sure Chinlu and Sal remember.
Well, no, it was the retirement speech.
It was a retirement speech for a guy who'd been with the company, what, like 30, 40 years? And they're like, let's take Jacob's wheelchair through that.
Good stuff.
I mean, you have to give. Was it Annie? Who was the one that actually pulled the strings for you guys to do that? That was epic.
Yeah, we were this close to just doing it.
Yeah. We were going to do it. We said to Annie, look, it's going to happen. You can either clear it first or you can be part of the non-cleared go for it team.
I mean, as Brandon says, be the reason a rule is made. So I've actually done that at 3D Experiment, well, SolidWorks World back in the day.
And you broke it in Nashville.
Yeah. I broke the rule. At the CSWE party, the first one I went to, I broke my ankle because I jumped off stage. The following year, there was a rule that no one was allowed on stage. So the band had to, like, if they wanted to interact with the crowd, they had to come off the stage. I'm quite proud of that one.
Good.
I'm sure we set a rule in the Nashville building for a vehicle going up a certain speed inside the hallways. Right? That was the.
Yeah, you'll find it was a disability aid.
Yep, that was our reasoning.
He was in a hurry.
A GP was so upset that you guys dialed down the top speed.
Oh, can you imagine though? GP goes shooting through a glass window on that thing.
I mean, it would be all right, but the fact that it had like a fork in the front of it with sheet metal attached to it.
Impale some people, yeah.
Johnny, what happened when you just bumped a piece of sheet metal?
Cut my arm a little bit. That was magic wheelchair related as well, actually.
So imagine 40-mile-an-hour sheet metal going straight towards your ankles.
I just clipped that. 8 staples.
Oh gosh.
I'll text you the picture, Dan. You'll like it.
But they butchered you though with the staples.
British National Health Service. You know, you guys moan about having to pay for healthcare. Don't.
You're not getting staples in your arm. Yeah.
Yeah, waiting to get something done on the free healthcare system here is kind of like I had a little cyst in my neck, and by the time I had my appointment to actually see a doctor was about 6 months later, and it absorbed into my body already.
See,
I still had my appointment. I was still like, it was there, but you took your time.
I have a feeling this is where the conversation is going to get weird.
Yeah.
It's the British approach. Leave it long enough and it'll disappear.
I thought you were gonna say leave it long enough and it'll get weird.
Yeah,
that too.
I mean, that way too.
Also true, yeah.
Johnny's got a line of 5 beers, so he might get a bit weird.
I'm down to 2.
You've had 3 already.
Well, like 2 2/3.
Wait, are these like flights or like legit cans of beer?
just double IPAs and
I just
16 ounces.
I'm off work. I'm done work for the week. This is great.
Yeah, same. Although you
It's
still gotta drive
Wednesday.
I know.
And even better, we had a national holiday because the Queen
That's
died
right.
on Monday.
Oh yeah.
Monday.
there we go.
there you go.
2-day week.
2-day week. Honestly, I've never known anything like this. So
Yeah, it has been. This week was surprisingly short.
very
Because it
short.
was 2 days for me as well.
2
But
days. It's great.
What is life in the UK like right now with the changing of the guard and the services and stuff? Has it been just everywhere?
In the north of England, it's been normal. For Kirby, it's probably been horrendous.
well, I was in London on Thursday. I didn't go and see the queue. I didn't go wait in the queue.
Have you guys all heard about the queue?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's traveled. The queue is that long. It's traveled the world.
Yeah.
Apparently, we have a lot of people that don't work.
I
Yeah,
heard
it's
that, Beckham, it was even in the queue for like 13 hours.
Yeah,
Famous
he
people
waited.
in the queue.
yeah. Theresa May as well, also waiting in the queue. But there was some morning show host that jumped the queue to go see the Queen, and they're being ripped on so
slated.
badly now.
Really?
Yeah, there's like a petition for them to get sacked over it because they didn't wait.
Wow.
Bad form.
It's Britain. We love a queue. If you jump the queue, you get sacked.
That's funny.
Or I mean, he didn't shortcut.
And you said you were off today. Today was a holiday.
Monday was.
Monday was a holiday. And then for anybody who doesn't know, they're hosting a big UK regional user group meeting tomorrow in at DriveWorks headquarters, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, so we're hanging out with good old
Heather,
Heather.
Heather,
Yeah, that's
Well-
awesome.
come on, you got to play her voice if you're going to bring her up. Welcome to the Core Podcast.
ooh, that's a great
I
idea.
have got that. Where is it? No, it's not that one.
No, that's the wrong one.
Hello there.
No, it's
No,
Is that the core podcast at night?
Welcome to the Core After Dark.
there. It is. I've also got one with Jeff Mirasola in
Jeff
it.
Mirasola's one cracks me up.
For a $25 donation, you can help. You know what? Do you know what Jeff is like?
Yeah, that was leading up to when we got the final bits of our donations. But I know, and I've been meaning to ask you about this one, Dan. Brad Media said that if we raise $5,000 for Magic Wheelchair at World, he's going to shave his beard.
Oh.
How do you feel about shaving your beard?
Oh, I would do that in a heartbeat. Yeah.
No. You gotta. You $10,000. That's.
Oh yeah,
$10,000.
Yeah.
And you, Dan Riffle?
Sure. I'm game.
The Dans aren't taking much convincing.
Yeah,
No,
good
right.
for me.
Yeah. I'm always happy to mix stuff up.
Yeah, but I'll see if I can get Manscaped to bring some products.
Val's team. We got to up the ante here.
Yeah, up the ante a little bit. I mean, Brad has way more on the line here than we do. So
Yeah, he suggested it.
yeah, that's pretty wild, dude.
Johnny says he'll wax me.
I didn't. Brandon did. I ain't touching your hairy back.
I've got no hair on my back. It's quite weird. But enough about that.
Well, you know what they say: if you leave it alone long enough, it'll just get weird. So we'll see.
Oh, I've got to get a sound ready for him. Where is it?
Oh, I nearly did it, but I'll let you get the sound. I was so buzzing to do it.
There he is.
He knows what's
He's
coming
in.
as well.
You know, mate, that's not a knife. This is a knife.
Nice.
Hey, Michael.
Good morning, afternoon, whatever time of day it is.
Well, what time is it for you there, Mike?
It's all of those times.
It's about 5:30 on Thursday morning.
Oh my word.
So our question is, what are you drinking?
I've just dragged my backside out of bed, so I was just about to make a cup of tea, but I thought I better say hello first.
He's going to
Oh,
get a
no,
can of
fair.
4X or something good.
4X, who was that?
No, 4X.
Must be
4X is
some
like a
Ripple guy.
Foster's.
It's the only
What's
Australian
everyone
beer I
drinking?
could remember. Give me a break.
I went to their brewery tour with my wife's father, who's a brewmaster. Like, he's studied chemistry and he's done brewing all his life. And he walked out of there, it's like, that was just a factory. That's not a brewery.
There's no science happening there.
No, it's all just pumping beer through pipes. There's
big
no
love for
actual
Michael.
brewing.
Big love for Michael in the chat.
Everybody's enjoyed happy that you've joined us.
Yeah, wow, Michael.
Well, it's the if of me, so I can't even speak it that early. I need a drink.
Yeah.
It's not the first time I've had a drink at 5:30 in the morning, to be honest. We've all been there.
Yeah, Johnny and I have. That's usually how we start World.
We've normally not gone to bed yet.
Yeah, that's mostly the reason.
As the saying goes, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, Michael.
Absolutely.
No one ever says which 5 o'clock either. You know, you
Right.
can
5 a.m.
And it shouldn't really matter.
What have you got planned this weekend, Mike?
Well, I'm having a day off because due to her Royal Majesty, who passed away, we decided that we should have a random public holiday on a Thursday, 2 days after the funeral.
I mean, you Aussies
the
love
Australian
old Queenie.
way.
Like, you celebrate her birthday. We don't even do that.
Yeah, we just enjoy a public holiday, and we're not fussed where we get it from. we're pretty, we're not fussed where we get things from. If it's a day off, it's a day off.
No, I was going to say, yeah, day off's a day off, isn't it?
Well, pretty much so. It's where say we have this random Thursday as a day of mourning. We couldn't even hit the day of her funeral. So, and to be honest, the reason I picked today is tomorrow being Friday in the southern states in Victoria. They also have another day off because their major football grand final is on the Saturday. So they have a public holiday just to get ready for the weekend of their football
that's
final.
Awesome. I love that.
So not to disturb things, they actually have the today off as well. So they're actually having 2 days preparation of the football. So there'll be a lot of people won't make Saturday's football grand final.
What you're saying, Michael, is you've managed till Thursday to not be upset about the Queen, but it's all hit you now.
Oh yeah.
Did you sign it off as compassionate leave?
Exactly right. Exactly right. So I'm having a very strange Thursday, which I have to get back to work tomorrow as well, which will be certainly a very strange day as well.
Wow, so you got up at 5:30 to join us on your day off, Michael. That's just really nice of you.
I hate to say it, Dan, after 40 odd plus years of working, getting up at 5:30 in the morning is just a given. And also like children, the cat is on her own timetable, and she knows exactly when it's 5:25. She doesn't even wait for the alarm to go off when she's by the side of the bed screaming to be fed. So there is no sleeping in this household.
Yeah. We had the brilliant idea to get a new puppy like 2 weeks ago, and same thing. We're back to she's up at 5 or whenever she wants. It's a disaster.
Yep.
I mean, I always find that like you look forward to your sleep in on your day off, and that's the day that you wake and you're fine. You can get up really easily, but on a work day, it's just you struggle.
Yeah, you struggle.
Well, I do.
My wife sent me this picture a little bit ago of the new puppy and the current dog shoehorning into a cat bed. Then, clearly they don't. Either one of them fit in there. But anyway,
what does the cat say about the new dog?
The cat is not happy about it. The boy cat. He's like 10 or 11, so he's kind of an older man, and he's like, I am not happy about. I wasn't checked with first on this decision. So
yeah, you never ask permission.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, puppies are. Ours are only. We've had ours for like 2 years, and they're only starting to settle, sort of.
I was going to say, Kirby, yours have been quiet tonight. Just leave them alone.
They've been at daycare today, so they are
that's
shattered.
why.
Yeah.
Shattered.
We used to do that with ours, and I mean, they'd be wiped out. We'd just pour them back into the car and just out.
Yeah. We had something crazy. Go ahead, Kirby.
The daycare people, they drop the dogs off and they let themselves in and let the dogs in while we're still at work. And our dogs, when we're not here, they just bark the whole time. So they spend another 2 hours just barking for 2 hours. So it doesn't help out. So they'll be fast asleep.
A week ago, last Wednesday, I took the puppy for puppy shots at like 5, whatever, like the first shots that puppies get when they're puppies at 5:30. And we're done. I get back home by like 6, pretty quick. By 6:15, the puppy was in complete anaphylactic shock. Like her eyes swelled shut, her mouth swelled shut, her arms were like blowing up. And I was like, oh my God, like just threw her back in the car, put my son back in the car, shut everything. I had dinner going. I had everything happening. Flew back to the vet and they just took her and they're like, oh gosh, okay, we have to go. And she's okay. She's obviously fine now, but they were like, we've never seen that happen. That was pretty wild. So watch your puppies when they get shot, apparently. Shots.
Yeah, it's kind of difficult to know.
Yeah.
What happened? We got to take ours for it. She's her yearly booster and that.
Yeah.
That won't be fun.
Yeah, it was basically that she had an allergic reaction to something, and it can happen.
Yeah.
Brandon's asking, did I get a refund? No, Brandon, and even worse, they charged me even more to revive
visit.
her.
Yep.
So, no, I got another bill walking out the door for, administering Benadryl and steroids and a bunch of other stuff to revive her.
For basically saving your puppy after they tried to.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's nice of them, Dan, isn't it? Nice.
Yeah, that is nice.
Sounds about right. That's healthcare for both pets and humans.
Yes, I agree. Chinlu. Yeah.
Saying that though, Dan, I have texted you a nice picture of my arm.
You did.
Yeah. Have a look at the National Health Service of the UK.
It's pretty graphic, man. Holy cow. I mean, they're not even straight, the staples. They're all crooked.
Yeah, you're telling me.
Oh my gosh. I can't even show that on feed here.
Yeah, you got butchered by that nurse.
That was bad.
You should have just used some duct tape at home, huh?
Honestly, Sal,
Yeah.
I may as well have just done it with a desktop stapler.
I would have done it for you, Johnny. I would have been more than happy. We had all the resin and the glues there.
I was gonna say super glue.
You would have been fine.
I've had plenty of staples. I don't need any more.
They're great to get out, aren't they, Todd?
Oh, yeah.
It's just a pair of dice.
Not
Just
today.
flip those things, you're good. You can do it.
Snip, snip, pull.
Yeah.
What have you had staples for, Todd? Got any fun war stories?
No. It was 2 different hernia surgeries. And the first time that they did those, they stapled. And then, the third time they went in, they did endoscopic. So, yeah, I've had 5 now. So I think the next one's free.
You got a punch card?
Yeah.
Yeah, staples.
Fifth one's free. I know Brandon in our chat. He's had a CNC router head go into his arm.
Because he's an idiot.
I can't remember. I think he was trying to do something with the wood that was being cut, and it just caught and sucked his arm in.
Yeah, 12,000 RPM doesn't tend to forgive.
Chinlu's got a video of me doing something stupid around a CNC, but it was innocuous. But so I had it set up, and I was noticing that I didn't hold the piece down. It was a big sheet of plywood, and it was coming up as the tool path was coming around. So I'm like, let me hop up on the table, as you do, and I'll put my foot and hold down the piece while it's cutting, and it was all safe. And then as I start to walk away, because it's the part's not in jeopardy anymore. As I'm walking away, I bang my head on my dust collection, the ductwork, and then of course I could have knocked myself out and then fallen dead on the. So it all worked out well. But, the stupid things you do when you. Oh, you're gonna show the video?
I don't know if it's gonna go through the webcam. No. It's so funny.
It's so funny.
Don't
do that at home.
Cell later.
For that.
Yeah.
Well, my boss got told off for HR because he didn't go get a ladder to go and check the ducting on the roof. He literally grabbed a bin, climbed on the bin, checked the ducting, and then fell through the bin. And it was all on CCTV as well. But the ladder was next to the bin that he grabbed.
It's like, why would you just get the ladder?
It was just more convenient.
It's just logic of that man. Yeah, Brandon says luckily the bone stopped the bit.
The router bit. I always say at work on a morning, I always say, look, remember, we want an accident-free day, but if we do have an accident, remember it was an accident and it was no one's fault.
Well, I mean, I put a drill bit through my hand while showing someone how to safely drill.
Yeah.
Really?
You won't be cocky anymore, will you, Kirby?
Yeah, one guy, he grazed his finger with it while he was drilling and the drill slipped. I was like, no, it's because you weren't holding it properly. This is how you hold it. And I'm busy drilling it and then I slipped and went through my hand.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that one's in the accident book.
Lead by example.
So I'm not allowed to use the drills anymore.
Lead with example.
Do they keep overflowing metal bins now?
No, because you know what our health and safety officer did? This is the best health and safety officer thing I've ever saw. Instead of fixing the problem with metal sticking out the skip, he's put a sign on that said, "Caution, objects may stick out."
I mean, he's not wrong.
I can't find the video. I don't even know which build this was associated with. It's all right. I'll send it when I find it one day. I had a terrible accident too. I was in crew when I was in college or high school, and we were doing a training with a barge instead of the regular crew boat. And the barge was like extra wide and thick, and so there were like 20 people on this thing, maybe even 30. And we all followed the rules of like hands on, lift, overhead. We were following the rules. And then so we're practicing. So I came in when people were already lifting it because I had just arrived late. So I hopped into an empty spot, went up and was helping out. And then when they say, okay, all done, come back down. And I happened to be where the support was. So everyone just let the boat down while my hand was between the boat and the support underneath. And my finger got caught, and I pulled my hand out of reaction and literally just pulled my nail and the front part of my finger right off.
Oh, it's the worst.
And it was the worst experience. And I was a flute player, so I couldn't play my flute for like an entire year.
Michael's ran away in fear of that.
Yeah, Michael left.
That was all my. After that, I was like, no, thank you. I will just lift very light things and.
Crew's supposed to be safe too. That's supposed to be the safe spot. I did crew also in high school. And,
well, the barge is not. The barge is just this massive tree. It's just very heavy.
Well, like Brandon says, a good sign at a hospital is waiting is good. Waiting means you aren't going to die.
It's true. That's a good point.
That's a very good point.
Yeah, that's just my fingers feel funny now.
Yeah, thanks for that one.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Everybody check your nails.
When I sliced my arm open, I think I was the most calm ever.
I don't know
Everyone's
why we're
like,
talking...
you need to go.
Yeah, you need to go, man.
I was like, nah, give me some of them green paper towels. I'll see you out the afternoon.
Well, I mean, when I jumped off the stage and hurt my ankle, I hobbled off to the bar, got a beer, and asked for some ice. And then that's when I took my shoe off and I looked at it. I was like, I'm going to need a bit more than ice.
At least you had at least you had travel insurance for the world's most expensive healthcare.
Oh no, I didn't.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's.
You You
That
leave that
reminds me, I
bill.
need travel insurance for next week.
Leave that
Yeah.
bill in the U.S. You don't have to pay that. You know. They're not
I
gonna
had to
find
pay it.
you.
Yeah, I think it was $900.
Oh well, that's like my copay. Yeah.
That's like nothing.
That's like Dan's excess.
You gotta say that's you'd be
Well,
happy
it's
with
because I
that.
told them just patch me up so I can go home and get it sorted properly in the UK, which they did.
Sean says he thinks of this story whenever he's asked about travel insurance.
Good call, Sean.
Lead by example. So whenever people think, "Oh, you don't need travel insurance, will be fine,"
You do.
you do.
Well, guys, speaking of World, what are you thinking for this podcast for World? Are you hoping to be there and broadcast live somewhere?
Well, I mean, I don't know if you caught last week's or 2 weeks ago's episode where we did it at my bar.
Yes.
That was kind of
that
like, yeah, we had a few after that at the pub, and decided to do that last minute. But it was a good kind of test to see what is needed for minimum to run it, and that was run off just a little laptop and my soundboard. So I mean, quite easily we can do it portable. So if there isn't a space for us, we'll just find a space, find one of those tables, hook up to the Wi-Fi, and just do our thing.
Hallway hangouts coming back is what I heard.
Yeah, hallway hangouts IRL.
I might actually have a proper
IRL.
hallway.
I had a meeting today discussing a possible location for the hallway hangout.
Cool.
So I'd be happy to host you guys in the Hive somewhere. Like especially if Kirby, if it's as simple as you're just describing, like a small setup, right?
It literally is nothing, isn't it? It's laptop, soundboard, and a couple of microphones.
Yeah.
And a large esky full of alcohol.
Yeah. Yeah. We have to
Optional
have
but advised.
a cooler. We have to have a cooler in the Hive. And all
Cooler.
that. Yeah.
Oh, Sean is mocking you.
Oh, what is he saying?
True community leader.
A true community leader.
Nope, next one.
Staged Hive in the Hive. Well, I mean, I'm allowed on stages now that Johnny and I formed the buddy system.
I got him safely down in Nashville last year. After basically, like, I had to like coax him onto the stage. Like, it'll be fine. We'll step up together and step down together. It'll be okay.
He needs a climbing harness for stairways.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking
Well,
forward
all
to
right, gentlemen. I have to escape. It was great seeing you all.
You're off to the keggers now at the fraternities after a couple of whiskeys.
At 2 in the afternoon. That's about when they start, I reckon.
I also have the duck out. Sorry, guys. Got to go to.
No,
another
it's all right.
meeting.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks
I mean,
for joining,
this was quite fun. This is kind of
Happy 50th anniversary.
yes. We need to do this more often though.
Happy
Dan's got a birthday
anniversary.
party the weekend. I don't know if you know.
Listen, not talking about it anymore. Jinlu, I let the cat out of the bag that we're planning a surprise party for my brother. And Michael, I don't know if you heard that also, but I'm just hoping he doesn't watch this before Saturday.
He's going to be drunk and he's going to forget, right? That's what your plan is.
Yes, that is the plan at the moment.
To be fair, Dan, you do have the brewery tour beforehand. He won't remember a thing after that.
Nah, you're right. I'm good. Fine.
All right, everyone. We'll see you.
See you, Dan.
Bye.
Thank you, Jan.
Bye.
Thank you, Jinlu.
I'm going momentarily, guys. I got to get the little guy off the bus in about 5 minutes. So
Yeah, but I mean, for Will, Johnny and I haven't thought too much into it, but we'll figure out how we can take this format and make it in person. Because with my soundboard, I can have 4 mics. If I get a splitter, I can do even more mics.
and you can
with the
travel
mic-
with all that stuff easily.
Yeah, I'm taking some of it up to tomorrow, and it fits in a 3D Experience World backpack. So I mean, yeah, it's just kind of we just need to figure out what kind of content we'll produce and what kind of schedule we'll work on and figure that out.
I chatted to Matt last week, so I think he's got a rough idea of what we want to do, probably. But yeah, we'll make it happen as we always do somehow.
Awesome.
Brandon's still waiting for his backpack.
And
from
then
3D
if you
Experience
guys
World.
have any other meetings, the way. If you guys put together any other meetings this year, I still would love to get to the UK. But if not, we'll maybe sometime after World, we'd probably do it. But we shall say. I wish you guys luck tomorrow. Kirby, I'm toying with what to do during your broadcast tomorrow, because we have like Swugin office hours and then the Swugin weekly meeting at 12.
Yeah.
Which is all when you guys are broadcasting tomorrow. So
Yeah,
I may or may not be there.
I'm figuring out the details because I think it's just Theodore's presentation that I'm streaming to his GoToMeeting link.
Okay.
But I'm going to figure out how that will all work out because I've got to basically do it, just connect everything into his computer, make sure all the sound's good, and just let him do his presentation. I'm not too sure what else will be presented around that time.
Okay. So are you not streaming the rest? Are you not streaming anything else other than his presentation?
No, we decided if we just say, oh well, if you can't make it, you can just watch it on stream. We were worried that might
just put a lot
get
more
people say like, all right, then I'm not going to go.
Yeah.
But for Theodore, for him to allow his own user group audience to watch,
that makes sense.
That's kind of like the main thing, so he can get his audience involved as well.
Okay, cool. All right, folks, I got to run, but this has been awesome, and happy 50th.
Thank you,
fine gentlemen.
See you,
Michael,
enjoy the surprise party this weekend.
Yeah, I will. Thank you, Michael. Enjoy your day off, man. You know,
I will. I will.
You earned it.
All right, gang, I'm going to split as well onto Magic Wheelchair stuff.
See you guys.
Thanks for joining us, Sal.
Bye.
Thank you, Dan.
We're not. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, well, now they're gone. We can talk crap about them.
That's
So
right.
now there's only 4 we can get stuck into them.
We can figure out the best papers to advertise this surprise birthday party.
Absolutely.
We'll leave that to you, Todd. You're our man on the ground.
Yep. We'll get the news crews out.
I wasn't sure if I was still on his call.
Yeah,
I think we should rent one of them planes with that drags a message behind.
Yeah, all these legends that have attended tonight. No, it's good. Like we've been wanting you to join us at some point for a full episode, Mike.
Yeah, Mike.
But it's
Really? God.
timing is always just funny.
Yes, well, this living on the whole other side of the world and this time zone, it's just ruins everything.
Yeah,
Maybe
like
Kirby.
like for me, for like the Swugin meetings, it's always like at my drive home. So sometimes I'm just listening in the earpiece. I can't participate fully. But you get up at 2:00 in the morning.
Commitment.
No, stupidity.
They're pretty close to each other, Michael.
No. I knew what I signed up for, but yes. Time zones make it a bit tricky. So I'm not too bad this time of day. I've just got to score the right day. That's all. I don't mind getting out of half an hour early at 5. It's not a problem.
Maybe like
So I'm
Brandon's
just
just at World next year, we sit down with you for an hour and do a full little episode somewhere.
I don't know if that'll be broadcastable, will it? At Nashville for now.
Yeah,
It will be on our channel.
yeah. We'll try and figure out a way for us to be on the main. Like if we just walk on stage before World and just plug into the PA system. I'm sure we can work that out.
Yeah, GP, can you just hang on a minute, mate? We're just finishing up.
Almost done.
What's the worst can happen?
Just
With us
sneak
two in
in
the
before
same room,
everybody.
Michael.
And the odd international incident or two, I'm sure we'll be fine.
South African and Englishman and Australian walk on stage in Nashville.
What could possibly go wrong?
We'll be fine. Like I always say, it's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission.
Absolutely.
Rachel really lived by those terms.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now we do.
Speaking of the young lady, I see she's changed jobs.
Yeah, back in the 3D world. I haven't spoken much to her about this new role yet, but she was telling me about her previous one, and it was kind of for a tech company that does, I think, cybersecurity stuff. Kind of managing and build up her community, but I don't think she was there for very long. But now she's in like another 3D environment, so I think there'll be a lot of crossover there. I'm sure she'll figure out a way.
I should try to get out. You can never. What's the line?
Holding me back.
That's right. They keep pulling me back in. I try to get out. They keep pulling me back in. Yeah, no, it just looks an interesting system. Although I think the whole virtual reality thing looks like a solution looking for a problem.
Like I've got the PlayStation VR, and I just feel like it's such a faff to set up over here, and the amount of space you need to actually use it effectively. I have played with those new ones, the Oculus or the Meta ones now, the Rift, kind of the wireless ones, the ones that you just need the goggles and the handles. They're great because you can just put them on, set up, and go. But you're limited to what you can have on it because literally the computer's inside that headset. So you can't do anything that powerful.
It's not for me.
No, it has some uses. I think we've all seen some wonderful uses of it, but as a practical solution, until Tony Stark comes along and you've got holograms and you know that type of thing. I in a room. I mean, as I say, I think there's.
I think you guys, Todd and Mike, you've probably used the that AR system that they have at Boston headquarters.
Yeah.
That blew me away. That was comparing that to VR. Johnny, basically the way it works is that it's like this cube that you stand in with these curved edges, and you have all these screens projecting on there, and everything kind of looks weird until you put on these glasses and it tracks your head, and just suddenly everything's in front of you and floating, and you can put your hands through it. It's so weird, but it's really, really cool.
Yeah, they have the crash simulation where where the car collapses and you're in the model of the vehicle concertinaing, and it's very it's very cool.
Yeah. Like Brandon says, VR works best for driving and flying games.
I thought he was talking about in real life. Sorry.
I mean, I've one of the best games I've actually played in VR is Ace Combat, which is a fighter jet simulator. And like when you're trying to play that with controller, your camera's always like forward in the cockpit, and you know if you want to look around, you've got to kind of like move the sticks a bit awkwardly to try and find around. But while you're flying, you can do that quick little up and down and that quick little look around. Same thing when like I was playing I think Gran Turismo in VR and doing rally stuff and drifting. When you're drifting with just the controller, you same thing. Your head's forward. You can't see kind of your car at the side. But with the VR, you can do that quick little look out the side and actually see where you're going.
I've had some good demonstrations of it, and that vehicle of mine you used to see keep popping up at the start. I gave that to a few of the VR guys, and you could do literally a walkthrough in that vehicle, and you could turn around and you could lift things and you could move things and pull it all apart. So it's really there's some really good things which you can do with it. But again, the same thing. It's the amount of room that you need and the setup and the use and all those things. Unless it's a dedicated setup, it can be. It has to really be a dedicated setup, which I think is where half the real issue really is with VR.
Yeah, like the games are quite immersive, and like I remember playing my first horror game in VR, and like I'm not a big fan of horror games, and I decided to play in VR, and at one point this thing jumped out at me, but in the video game it's screaming in your face, but that's on the screen. But in VR, it's literally there, and it's just a whole different like level of scary. I think it's a tech that's kind of got a little ways to go. But I mean, if you're going to do like a demonstration of your van, AR is probably a better way to do it. Kind of that booth, but I mean that booth is hella expensive. I did a VR experience in London where it was like a Star Wars thing, and you wear VR goggles, you got a little haptic gun, and you wear this like chest plate and a backpack where the computer sits, but you walk through this basically preset maze type of thing. So while you're in VR, while you're walking through these rooms, you're actually walking through actual rooms, and you got to press buttons, and you actually go to press that button, and there will be a button or something for you to actually press there. I thought that was really interesting for kind of like, you know, if you use that in kind of like a training type of.
Yeah, there's some really good video. I've seen a TV show on it. The big tractor manufacturer in the US, they were using it to train for their assembly line, where they'd walk in and they'd have the rattle gun in their hand, and they'd be saying, "Look, you put your head up inside the wheel arch there, and that you've got to put that up in there." And they were using it, the 3D simulation and that was some handy uses. But again, it seemed to be an expensive setup where you'd find that in the production line the moment you start doing it. So I don't know how many problems they were solving, but it looked really, really interesting the way they were using it to basically train their people or to find problems before they set up their assembly line. So,
I mean, essentially that could be used in a way like, for example, one thing I've found with HP engineers and EOS engineers with the 3D printers we work with at work, whenever they have to replace a part, they look at the manual and they look at a PowerPoint presentation, and that shows them how to do it step by step. If you had some sort of like AR goggle that you can line up with the machine, and it kind of points it, take this apart, remove this panel, take out these screws. But I actually really like, one thing I've really realized about with the industry that I work in is that the people that set up these machines and repair these machines have no clue how to use them like day to day.
What? You build the machine and you don't know how it goes together. You can't get to that screw hidden underneath 4 bits of plastic. That would never happen.
That's my daily life, Michael.
Yeah, they were like, when they come to replace a part and they follow instructions, I'm like, you could have just sent me the part and sent me the instructions. I could have done this.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I guess that's a difficult part when you're building anything to think about every problem in regards to service and maintenance. I think we've all been caught there making the odd error.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's like I have found that there are like improving things, and they're adding like instructions on how to do certain things that were never a problem until kind of we were spotting these kind of problems. And I think being able to work closely with manufacturers on their machines, people that they actually build it and say, look, this is actually a problem. How can we work together to fix it?
Oh, yeah. No, the vehicle manufacturers is exactly the same. I mean, they're set up for the vehicles to go together on an assembly line. But, they're not built to disassemble it on a factory floor.
Or rebuild into something else.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, Volkswagen used to have a classic. They used to mount the air conditioning compressor underneath the car, up in front of the sump, in between two pulleys, and it was like just disassemble the whole front end of the vehicle just to pull the air conditioning compressor out. It's
ironically,
not really
Michael, that's very similar to why I got rid of my last Volkswagen.
Oh, mate, it's true. Again, they say that
it literally was. You take the subframe out, you take the engine out, you choose.
Yeah, and I say you can understand because they're talking about production line assembly, and their only thought is how can we build this vehicle and put it together. Not our problem to pull it apart.
No.
Do you ever work closely with the car manufacturers?
Do we work closely with the vehicle manufacturers? Not really. Until 2007, 2006, 2007, they didn't really want to know us. The whole industry was kind of kept aside. But the interesting it was actually Solidworks, and it was actually 3D CAD systems, where the giants of Mercedes and Volkswagen and Fiat all realised there was all these people out there working on their vehicles, and we were exactly the same. All of a sudden, they went from not talking to us to them throwing hundreds of gigabytes of DVD discs of 3D CAD model status, and that was a dramatic change on those people's thoughts, and now they kind of give us a consultation or in regards to seeing things early and some pre-release and feedback, but they're their own world. These are gigantic global conglomerates who employ more people to have a technical division and not pass on information than they do to actually help you. So it's like everything else. You've got to know the right person. If you get to the right person in the right division, life's really, really good. But the trick is, like anything, is finding a person to talk to be able to give feedback to. So they don't really come knocking on our door too many times, unless they want a tour of the factory and they want a free trip to Australia. Then they come knocking on our door.
So I assume that they're not building the cars for you, the vans for you.
They've all in the last 10 years realised that the manufacturers like us who work on their product sell a whole lot of vehicles a year for them, not just us, but obviously globally, the European manufacturers who are producing and the Americans who produce hundreds of thousands of vehicles compared to us producing hundreds. They realise that we're selling and using their vehicles, so they've tried over the years to assist to make things easier, but again, they don't understand the business fully. So their assistance to saying, well, how do you make electrical connections and the like, still don't really work, and going down the whole electrical CAN system, has made it more difficult. So we try and stand away from that, but they do realise that we're here, and they do provide some access and easier connections to do a few things, but we try and avoid going anywhere near their systems. It's just safer for everybody.
Yeah. I mean, like you said it there, that you are technically a reseller. You're selling a modded version of their vehicles.
And technically they want to know what we do, and they provide letters of acceptance, but they provide letters of no objection to what you're doing. But we used to do things when Volkswagen, the Volkswagen execs used to come out, certainly in the early 2000s, and they would look at what we were doing and they were saying, "You can't do that." So of course we can do it. We do it every day. No, they said you can't put our windows in this van. It's not made to go that way. It's made to go in a different body. Of course we can do it. We do it every day of the week, and they just look at us and kind of shake our heads. So, all those types of things. It's not their type of their business. I mean, we're used to having to take someone else's product and make it work for us. They're producing their own product, and as I say, they acknowledge that we're around, and they produce these manuals this thick to tell us what we're not supposed to do.
And we're just like, yeah, sure.
And you ignore it, yeah.
Yeah, I'd read it. I'd read it. And then because again, we have to make decisions based on what's best for our product. And I kind of take my guess that my 40 years of experience cutting up other people's products, I think I've got a fair idea what I'm doing most days.
I'm sure it could be. I'm sure it's quite exciting if you decide to go with a new van design or a new van to use.
Oh yeah, it's still what gets me out of bed every morning. To be honest, new product is always exciting, especially if it's every 10 years or 12 years or so when there's a whole new model comes out. It's nothing like these days. There's nothing like downloading 6 gigabyte of new CAD data to play with. It's exciting, and it's a challenge, and it's like any design, no matter how big or small it is. That first these days, that first rectangle you produce on the screen or the first thing that you do.
First sketch.
Yeah, it's exciting, and everything has its problems and the challenges is to be able to just work through each of those issues as they come up. It's I think why we continue to do it, or why we do those type of things. It's as much about solving, coming up against challenges and overcoming them than it is about the whole product design.
I mean, I always find that 80% of a design problem is figuring out where to start.
Yep.
You have an idea of what you want to make, but you kind of like, where do you start? And once you've kind of got that start, and you can build off of that. That's always the exciting part.
Yeah.
Once you've figured that out and you really just start getting a roll and you're just adding bodies, cutting, chamfering, adding bodies, cutting.
Yeah, that's why I'm not a great fan of concepts and concept drawings and all those sorts of things, because there's no use having a concept at the end of the day if you can't build it. Everything we do, I have to consider, how do you manufacture this at the end of the day? There's no use having up this wonderful idea and this wonderful layout. If it doesn't work, it kind of defeats the whole purpose of what you're trying to do. So
you must love those fresh-faced designers, fresh out of uni.
It's as I say, I've had a few of them over the years, and they're good kids, and they come in with some good experience, and they've got some modelling skills and things like that. And especially, say we're a small company, and they'd be designing something, and I'd say, well, that's good. I said, we're going to make these new moulds, and they're going to cost us $100,000 to do, and we can't afford $100,000 because we're only going to produce 10 of these products per year.
Yeah.
So now here's the real trick. What you've got to do is work out how you make that $100,000 mold and make it be able to be produced for $10,000. There's your challenge, and it's practical experience, and that's the one thing which you can only do one way, and that's just going out and making mistakes and working with companies and working through every problem and not being constrained, and that's no matter what industry you're in. I can look back and easily say that with 40 plus years of manufacturing behind me, problems aren't really problems. They're just another day in the office, where, as I say, you come fresh out of university, your first design job, you're trying to build something, you're going, well, that really looks great, but
how the hell are you going to put it together?
How are you going to put it together? How are you going to get that 1,200 wide cabinet into a door which is only 1,000 wide?
Pivot.
It's a small but minor. It's a small but minor problem.
Mm-hmm. Go through the roof.
And don't laugh. We actually have a fiberglass bathroom module which we designed, and we put a roof hatch in the vehicle, and it's put in a position over the bed, and everyone thinks it's a wonderful position to have the roof hatch over the bed, but there's a whole other reason for it. It's so we can lift the fiberglass module in through the back doors, so it goes up through the roof hatch and in the vehicle, and it was deliberately designed that way to get around a problem. Everybody thinks it's fantastic. What a great position to put a roof hatch.
No, it was there for a reason.
And that's what people say. Can we just move it? No.
Yeah, you're just like, yeah, sure. It was totally intentional for comfort, style.
Yeah. But again, there's always reasons behind things, and it's just understanding those reasons.
I mean, like the kind of stuff that you build, like that's whenever I see your model come up on the splash, I'm just like, it's just a mad model. Sorry?
Not after 2023. I've been dumped.
Did you make it this time?
No, we got the cut finally. They finally wake up to themselves.
I'm not upgrading that. That's it. 2022 forever.
Yeah, I mean, it's with the vehicle part of that. Do the manufacturers supply you with the CAD for that, or did you got to make that as well?
No, we get since about say 2007. The European manufacturers have been have really opened up their cooperation, and as I say, it used to be they used to send us. I used to have a stack of got a stack this high of DVDs in the cabinet they used to send us, but nowadays it's all downloads. So they all have web portals and there's technical information and the whole lot. So
that must have been exciting, like the first time opening up a CAD model from a manufacturer.
Oh yeah, it was the early part of us using, just after we started using SolidWorks back in about 2004 and 2005, and we hadn't really, we were playing with it more than anything. And I say early 2006, 6 months before they released a whole lot of new product, as I say, they suddenly dumped all this data on us, and it was like, here's a learning experience for you. You have to also remember that was the days of only 32-bit machines and, maximum 4 gig, RAM, and just to turn on the 4 gig switch to try and get more out of it. And, so Todd knows what I'm talking about. And, again, dealing with, imported data which had been produced in CATIA, which had been sent as a step file, which had been opened in SolidWorks. The learning experience was like through the roof. It was like we were burning through computers left, right, and center, and it was, it was again why I think I have a pretty good understanding these days of dealing with imported data. But that's only because I've been punished for the last 20 odd years with it.
Completely different learning curve.
Oh yeah, and again, even now, it takes me about a week when we get new data to produce a workable body for us. But the more effort I put in that week to get the body right, the better it becomes. For the next 10 years. I fell into those mistakes early on, when we're making bodies out of every single part instead of breaking them into sub-assemblies. And again, all those things, all those things you only know after you make that error, and you torture yourself for 10 years of bad models. You learn really, really quickly by making mistakes and experience. It's easy for someone to tell you not to make those mistakes. It's a whole other thing to make those mistakes and realise the drama you're causing yourself on a daily basis. So you just have to allocate that time.
You've learned a lot from it. So the next time you got to do this big import, you kind of have an idea of where to go, what you need to do.
Oh yeah, and I'm quite happy to tell people and give people advice on what I do, because no one should really suffer the way we had to. Again, you learn and every time you start a new project, it's like, okay, first thing you want to do is eliminate the mistakes you've made. Not even worrying about the design. The first thing you want to do is eliminate those errors and mistakes that you've tortured yourself with for 10 years previously. So, it's part of the whole. It's kind of part of anything. It's part of building anything, or designing anything. It's understanding. I would say you can't move forward without understanding your past, and I think you've got to always keep that in mind.
It's a good design philosophy.
As I say. Not just your modelling, but the whole setup and understanding, handling data. That's just a whole other subject which you're not taught about when you first model. They teach you how to model. Here, draw this cube, draw this thing. You think, fantastic! I can draw this. I can model this. I can build this really cool design.
I can make a block and then fillet it.
Yeah, and then 2 years down the track, you've been modelling, and you think, holy crap, this data is everywhere. It's the thing they don't tell you about. It's the one part which is highly neglected with any 3D modeling or any CAD systems, is that they don't talk about data management until about 5 years into your experience, and then you realise you have this data everywhere. It's just spread across as many things as possible. So again, that's understanding.
Yeah, Brandon, thank you very much for joining us this evening, hanging out with us. I'm sure any of us have ever made like a perfect cube and then fillet it to make a sphere.
Yes. Yes. Isn't
We've
that
all
how
done
you
that. It's that thinking that's like, will this work? Will it break?
Yep. What if?
And kind of poking around and figuring out what can we pull off, what can we achieve, can we, instead of being given that sheet of kind of like the first time you're learning CAD, like copy this. It's that kind of like, what if I do it this way, or what if I try this? It's that kind of thinking that I feel like's gotten a lot of us to where we are now. That kind of
you only ever learn the shortcuts by doing it the long way.
Oh yeah. Well, that again, reverse engineering, copying things. We do a lot of that to just put everything as much in our model as possible to to get around things. So I learned that early on modeling plumbing and gas fittings, where you had a simple elbow, a pipe elbow, but you couldn't make it by a sweep. You had to kind of do it by two extrudes, and then you had this sharp corner. And you think, okay, how do I make this right? Oh, I know. I'll fillet it. And as I say, how do you fillet a square corner to make a round tube? Because the radiuses were ridiculous on them. And you're thinking, well, you've just got to fillet it. So yes, if you look at some of the strange modelling we've done just to create this elbow, you're thinking, what were they thinking when they did this? But obviously, it's how they came about themselves in regards to making tight angle, right 90-degree elbow fittings for pipes and tubes and gas fittings. So yeah,
like today I had to change one of our calibration cubes. It's just like a little cube, but I need to put a little chamfer on it. Instead of just like chamfering the top, I built it all out of surfaces and all that stuff, mostly because I knew that means I could spend an hour instead of 5 minutes. I could waste my time. But I was just kind of like messing around, like, what if I build it this way instead?
You're a boss's worst nightmare, but also a genius at the same time.
We call them dairy farmers. They're milking the job.
Come on, surface modeling for making square panels is just the greatest thing in the world. Come on.
And I'm trimming them, and they're like, wow. It's just like, I could have just extruded this and boom, done.
No. It's much more fun when you have to have a reference point with a surface plane, and then all you want to do is create a panel out of it. But you want to use that surface as a reference point. So you then just thicken it. It's fantastic. Everybody should use surface modeling for square parts.
Yeah, it's because I don't design often at work, but when I do, I was kind of like, I'm gonna have fun with this one. I don't like designing for other people. I did that for a little bit. It's not fun. They're like, oh, I really want this. I'm like, cool, well, here it is. And they're like, no, it's not what I wanted. Yeah, I've dealt with too many people. Like, this one guy's trying to get me to do some CAD work for him as well. Again, I'm like, that'll be fine if you paid me for the past 2 jobs.
Dude, you really need to deal with
it's like, I can pay you up front for this one. Like, go pay me for the others first. Yeah. But I mean, Michael, Todd, thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Good fun.
No problem.
I feel like we need to have these hangouts more often.
I thought that. Every 3 months we just open our doors or our online door.
You just need an excuse to have a drink, let's be honest. Well, actually, you don't need an excuse to have a drink, do you?
I was going to say, I don't know how I feel about taking drinking advice from an Australian.
It's almost like a challenge.
Brad Media just jumped in there. How you doing, Brad?
You're not wrong though, Michael. I might have had a few this evening for our
A few. Anytime I ever see you guys, when you have a few, you're normally well primed by the time I get out of bed.
It's well oiled.
Oh, jeez.
It's doing a good job. Yeah, our last episode we were at my bar, and we finished a bottle of Jack Daniels. I think we had another like 3 or so beers, and then a couple of whiskeys afterwards. But before we started, we actually went to the pub beforehand. But we didn't get that drunk, Matt Clegg.
No, but Johnny was complaining about that smoky whiskey you got him. He wasn't having any bar of that.
Oh, it was horrible. It was like smoking a cigarette.
It was
It was a good
very,
time.
very, very smoky. It's like you just, yeah,
It's like sticking your head in a barbecue.
just that taste that you get in the back of your throat. That's what it tasted like.
Horrible.
I got what's it, Ryan. He was if you saw him at 3D Experience World with Brad Thompson, he was the guy always in the Master Chief suit. He was here at my place last weekend. Speaking of the devil,
He's arrived.
Is he in the queue?
he's just there. He is.
No way.
Dude, comments are my job. Get away.
They were drinking the fire. Yeah, he tasted it. He said it was quite smoky, as well.
It was smoky, Ryan, you see?
Brad's coming just in time for the drinks.
Nice.
I think Johnny's finished all his drinks.
Nope, still got a half.
So the show finishes when Johnny runs out of alcohol.
I always have spare.
Is that where you disappeared to?
No, I know I went for a wee. That's been on my desk for about 3 months. So it's
Did you
warm.
say you went for a wee, or did you just pick that one up under the table
and refill it?
Yeah, I refilled it for you, Michael. I'll post it.
Oh, thanks. I'll remember that.
No, it's
Why
Corona.
do
It's pretty much the same.
I was going to say there's not much difference.
Well, I'm happy to see that Michael and I shared some good whiskey back in Boston together.
We heard about
Man.
this.
We did. We did.
Mm-hmm.
That was very kind
That was a lot of
of Mr. Wagner to bring some local drop. And I said I'd repay the favour at 3D Experience World, and I'd see what I can bring across from here.
I mean, Dan invited me to that, and I said, "Oh, I can't go. I don't have enough leave." Literally 2 days before the event, my boss came to me. It's like, "Look, I need to speak about all this leave that you're taking for Solidworks." I was like, "Oh God, it's gonna, cuck me up because of this." Is like, if you wear a work shirt, I'll give you more days off. I was like, done.
Too late now.
You could have told me this 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, no, it was a great event. It was very it was educational, but it was good. It was a good event. They just so have been very generous over the years to many of us, and they certainly know how to put a good event on. And
Good
it
shindig.
was good. It was, as I say, the couple of days in the office was good. We didn't break too many things. I don't think. Maybe a few.
Maybe a few rules.
I think the funniest thing was that they rolled out a hot fix right before we started. So it was like, the night before, because I saw it on my computer and I didn't load the hot fix. But then when I got there, it was like, oh, this must be part of the beta testing.
Yes.
Oh, the hot fix. And then it just like...
Surprise! Should we do this update? Yes.
I'm going to go with a no.
I'll tell you, I've been a part of SolidWorks user groups, been a part of a decade out in Washington with Eric Beatty's group, and watching what Dan put together with Beta, that was one of the most rewarding experiences I've seen, for sure. Getting to see users talk with the people that actually make and refine these tools, it's pretty cool to watch.
I mean, for me, that was one thing. Getting involved with the community was actually talking to the people that are making it, and just like saying, "Oh, I really don't like this feature or how this feature works," and they'd be like, "Well, I mean, you don't have to use it this way if you try it this way." And I'd be like, oh, "Wow!"
Right. Yeah.
Brad says he's going to bring some moonshine for 3D Experience World.
I've signed
Is
us
that
up.
is that the kind of moonshine that just burns all the chest of your hair,
No, it's the one that makes you
hair
go
off your
blind.
chest?
What Johnny said, that's my next concern. Yeah.
What do you say, Johnny?
The one that makes you go blind.
The one that tastes like paint thinner. Because I've got
ethanol.
moonshine. It's like 20% butterscotch
No, you haven't.
liqueur that's in a jar
Dude, it
called
was
moonshine.
practically golden syrup, that.
It was great.
Put it on pancakes.
Don't laugh. We had a football party and we had waffles, and I mixed Jameson's with maple syrup. It makes for a good waffle topper.
I was going to say I'll have it for breakfast, but I've got to drive to Kirby tomorrow, so maybe not.
In Washington, we have a whiskey distillery, Woodinville Whiskey, and they started selling maple syrup that was aged in bourbon barrels.
Nice.
This is pretty good stuff, man.
Francis, I thought moonshine instantly gives any man a full chest of hair. I mean, it will burn it off if you've already got a full chest of hair.
I'll take my chances.
Brad's going to try your combo there. Brad hasn't died with his moonshine yet.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
You can up it a little bit because we made French toast with Bailey's one time.
Ooh.
And then you throw that syrup on top of it.
Yeah, breakfast at Todd's house, everybody.
Yeah.
Breakfast at there's a whole movie you made there, isn't it? Breakfast at Todd's house.
Yep.
There you go, Matt. That's an idea. Breakfast with Todd's house instead of breakfast with the champions.
That's right. Let's drop in. Hack into his Amazon Echo. Yeah. I'm looking forward to doing that now that I'm on East Coast. I can do a 6 a.m. whatever champions meeting.
Yeah. I was gonna raise that prospect with you. You need to have an early breakfast meeting because, again, as much as I love getting out of bed at 2:30 in the morning, I haven't made too many champions meetings lately because of it.
Yeah.
Well,
hey, Michael, I made an appearance last week. You got to up your game.
Yeah.
Oh, mate, I know. Yeah, I got 30 years on you, Johnny. I need my sleep these days.
And I'm in a different building now because, like, when Sean used to do the breakfast ones, I would just tune in on my bike when I was riding to work. And so it'd just be like dark, and then there'd be lights flying over me.
It was the best. You really had to experience. If you've never been to a champions breakfast meeting, seeing Todd going down the street with lights flashing past him for the entire meeting, all we would see is there'd be all these people, and all you'd see is Todd. There'd be this movement like this, and lights.
That's awesome.
It was entertaining. Literally, you probably have to go back and look at some of the old video because it's really worth watching just to see Todd cycling in the middle of winter.
It's impressive.
Brad is asking if you moved to the east side now.
I did. Whole family and I picked up and packed up the family wagon, headed east. So probably live squarely what I call the Middle East here in Toledo, Ohio. I do that to antagonize the locals. This is an out-of-towner, but yeah, they think it's the Midwest here. So,
how's that worked out so far?
It's good. I'm in a nice neighborhood. People are way nicer here, man. It's kind of.
Yeah, I've heard Seattle's a bit. They're a bit spicy. I've been there. I don't have
Eric's not watching.
The one bar lady got annoyed with me because I don't have my passport with me. But
well, I think it's how Eric and I became friends because we're atypical Seattleites. In the fact that we make friends with strangers. So, yeah, it's frowned upon there.
It's just like London. Like when it's just you don't speak to people in London. Everybody's just their mission.
Yeah. London is a strange place for us Northerners. Everyone up here says hello to everyone. Like, you all right? How you doing? You go down to London, and no one speaks to each other. You're like, what the hell have I done wrong?
See, when I toured Germany with my sister, because she got her master's degree over there, we started out in North Germany, Hamburg, and it was a lot like Seattle. No one talked to anybody. We would just mess with people and say hello on walks just to see what reactions we would get. It was hilarious. But
that's literally what I do everywhere in America.
Right. Oh, okay. So then the further south we went, Füssen next to Bavaria, or excuse me, next to the Alps, right? That was the friendliest place by far. These are all the mountain folks, big, loud. These are my people, obviously. So if I had to live in Germany, you'd be in the south end for sure.
Yeah, I'll be going to Germany next month for training. So I'm going down to Munich, so at least people will be friendly.
Kirby.
Munich was fun. We did
Johnny.
Oktoberfest there.
2 words.
What?
Travel insurance.
It's a work trip, so I need to check if that's covered.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, I actually need to check that.
That's one thing for your budget, Matt. Kirby's medical expenses.
No, I get my own travel insurance now.
Little number off to the side of the spreadsheet.
I'm sure Rachel had to, like, for the next year at World, she had to specify that you have to get your own travel insurance.
Just come up with a good acronym for it, and slide it under the radar.
You know, with travel insurance, you do know with travel insurance, especially traveling to the States, there is a huge part which says you are covered for $100 million of public liability as well.
I could use that.
You never know, folks.
You never know. Exactly right.
Yeah.
I could put a dent in that.
It sounds like a challenge.
Is that it?
Right? Kirby.
Matt, have you ever rented one of them electric scooters? You know, the little.
I did in Portland. So I'm 6'2", like knocking on 300 pounds. My best friend's 6'4", way above that. And we were going to get scooters in Portland late at night, and his wouldn't work. So we both jumped on mine. You know the death wobble that you see on motorcycles? We got a death wobble going like 20 miles an hour on this thing because the tires are that big.
Johnny nearly went head on. Johnny nearly went head on into traffic.
It's easier to do than you might think. I mean, there's 500 pounds of dude on this little scooter at least.
Yeah.
And,
see, Kirby, see.
I think any time when you say the words electric scooters, 2 a.m. in the morning, alcohol, I think you know where it's going.
No, but Michael, sadly, Nashville is no fun. After 8 p.m., you can't rent one.
Can't you?
Really?
No, we tried.
They're restricted.
Can't imagine why.
And I was going to say, I don't understand. At least Nashville is a sensible place to be. I can understand their thinking.
I mean, in Dallas, there was no restrictions. We rented them at 3 o'clock in the morning. I could barely stand up, and I was renting one.
They were our method of transport for Dallas.
I've seen the video, Johnny. I've seen the video.
Yeah. I know.
What we found out too, the first time you rent one, it's governed. It only goes like half speed. So I figured that out at the very end. So I took the one out on a second lap. You can actually catch some air on curbs.
Telling me.
It's pretty fun.
Telling me.
Dallas was a free-for-all and it was a blast. I may have tried to jump a few curbs. See, Johnny decided to like try and sit as low as possible while going off a curb, so his center of gravity was further back. So it wheelied and then popped him off. Scooter kept going into oncoming traffic, and the scooter realized that there's no one on him anymore. So it locked its brake and then just did a flip.
In front of like a yellow cab. Yeah.
Johnny's not allowed to rent from Uber.
Yeah, and of course, Uber wants to. Can you take a picture of this when you park it for us, just to see what shape it's in?
I honestly can't rent Uber scooters anymore. It's quite inconvenient at times.
I don't know why. I don't know why that would be.
I know, Michael. It's bloody sensitive.
It's discrimination. It's discrimination, Johnny.
Everyone was 12 once.
Some still are, though. That's the problem.
Yeah, most of us.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, I mean, I remember.
Toast with my cold coffee here.
I remember rocking up at the special event. Solidworks had hired buses for everybody to go.
No one
It was you could walk to the special event, but everybody just rented scooters. And it's just thousands of people piling into this one spot, all on scooters, and just the street lined up with hundreds of scooters. The guys in the vans that work for the scooter companies were parking there, loading their vans up with the scooters to try and like redistribute them around the city. The next day, the morning, there were so many scooters outside of the convention center because they realized that a lot of people were renting. And those scooters lasted an hour before they were all gone.
Do you remember we did like the Shark Tank thing that year? Or like the keynote was that Shark Tank thing? Before one of the guys did his Shark Tank pitch, we saw him outside the Dallas Convention Center riding a scooter around on the wet grass. Like wheels spinning this scooter around.
It was like he was trying to kind of like get ready for his presentation. He was just doing circles.
Motivation, it's called.
Yeah.
That's right.
After surviving the scooter, working up on stage would be less death-defying.
Yeah, trust me.
Reprioritize.
Yep. Brad did a scooter to get his tattoos done and then off to this special event.
You got tattoos at World? What?
You're in for a shock, Matt.
Okay. We're going to show you a good time. No, Brad went to, I can't remember what the tattoo shop is called, but there's it's quite a very well-known artist called Oliver Peck, and his tattoo studio is in Dallas. And Brad went to go.
Look him up, Oliver Peck. Okay.
Yeah, he's one of the judges on the tattoo show.
Yeah.
Really?
I can't remember what it's called. Tattoo Masters.
I don't know if you know.
Ink Masters, that's it. Yeah. Deep Elm Street tattoo.
But
I've seen him before, yeah.
Never been. Matt Clegg's never been to In-Person World.
It's true. Fun fact. I'm pretty excited, guys. Dan and I met.
I'm sure it was the same with Sean in Nashville. I think it was the same for him. It was his first in-person World. Or first World.
Sean will vouch for us, Matt. You stick with us, you'll have a good time.
No, I believe it. It'll be good. We went over, Dan and I went over some community planning today with the core team. So can't spill too many beans, but it's going to be a good time.
Yeah, don't spill the beans.
We wouldn't tell anyone. You're safe.
Yeah,
no, that's not how this goes.
Did you know Dan's having a surprise party this weekend?
We're still plugging a surprise party. YouTube's going to pick up on it eventually. Ping it.
Anyone down for tattoos in Nashville?
Ooh, there it is.
Maybe.
We'll see. It depends on what kind of whiskey Michael brings, I think.
I'll bring the good stuff.
Okay.
I mean, it would be a good place to get like a Jack Daniels tattoo.
I have a Jack Daniels cloth patch that I glued to the inside of my truck. It's a college vestige.
You could make that permanent on your body.
I'm a dad now. My daughter's going to ask me, Dad, how did you get this? Who drinks that anymore?
We do.
You can tell her the legend of Jonny and Kirby.
Right.
Yeah.
The hush. Shall we mention in hushed tones the legend of Jonny and Kirby?
Right. Yeah. Closely followed by my wife's telling her, "Your father." ... And the head shaking. Yeah.
Your father is giving you an example of how not to live your life.
Right. Yeah.
What happens in Nashville stays in Nashville.
Right. I'm looking.
Unless you tell me, and then we'll talk about it on here.
And it's permanently inked on your body.
Yeah. Well, then when we go back to Dallas, it'll be a cover-up job for Oliver.
Well, there we go. You're just setting yourself up to a good time in Dallas.
Long-range goals, guys. Long range.
Dallas was fun, to be fair.
Dallas was different because, like, before that was LA, and there's so much to do in LA. With Dallas, there wasn't much to do other than just hang out at World. Nashville's great because of the bars.
Broadway, hell of a place.
Music, right? I've heard there's a ton of live music, right?
Loads of live music. The awesome. Saturday night is that's where it's going to kick off.
We're just playing on this, just walking on the streets. There was music, so you didn't even have to find a bar to find music.
That's awesome. I'll have to bring my trombone.
I have a friend that's a musician, and he was talking about Nashville, where people would just like go from bar to bar and play with different bands, and they would just do that all night.
Oh man, what were you say, Johnny?
My advice is don't bring anything you don't want to lose.
Yeah.
Sean lost the jacket. Sean and Jonny lost the jacket
in the same night,
in the same bar.
Yeah,
to the same people.
Probably, yeah.
I mean, I was wearing Dan Riffle's jacket at some point.
Yeah, and it was very big for you.
Why were you wearing Dan Ripple's jacket?
I have no clue. I just know about this through stories.
Yeah, he doesn't remember because I had to carry him home that night, essentially.
There was a few people I believe got carried home in Nashville.
Yeah,
It'll be a good time.
some strangers asked Johnny for help. if they could help. Get him
Yeah,
back.
I was carrying Kirby like over my shoulder to try and get him home. Some guy said, "Do you need a hand?"
So you grab the hands and I'll grab the feet.
Yeah,
It just shows they are friendly in the South.
very.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I would agree with that.
Yeah, we Rachel trusted us with the care of Michael Bridges, and we showed him a good time, and we didn't see him for 3 days.
Scare people.
It is a problem with people who make their first. Matt, by the way, Solidworks World 3D Experience World is an endurance event. It's not a sprint.
I've heard that from several people.
Yeah, you gotta pace yourself.
Michael Bridges said, "Look, I'm getting the drinks in. I'll make sure I make it to the end of the night." Didn't see him for 3 days.
There are numerous stories about people's first worlds, and no matter how many times you warn them, they just don't make the event out.
I've been to college twice, man. I'm ready.
It's
Matt,
it's
honestly,
completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've done
Okay.
2 degrees.
Yeah.
University, college, nothing on World.
And sadly, I have to admit, a fellow Australian, after giving massive amount of advice and warnings about his first event in Dallas, sadly didn't make the Sunday registration until 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and didn't make the Wednesday morning general session.
I remember walking back with you after the one of the events. It was in Dallas, the Swaggin event.
2019 Swaggin event.
You had such an outfit, Michael.
I did, and that shall never be mentioned again. And I blame Nicole. I blame Nicole over that.
Honest to God. I wasn't at Swaggin then because I wasn't a user group leader. I walked into the bar and Michael's there in this girl. I was like, what a guy.
Like 20s outfit.
Seriously.
Legendary.
Seriously, drinking in that. Oh, there's some stories about that. Walking down. I can't even tell the stories about that. But drinking in that bar after coming back from that event was quite a night.
Well, on that note, everybody, I got to get back to writing contracts, but it's been fun as always. Yeah, it'll be great to see everybody at World. Looking forward to it. For sure. Congrats to both you guys for episode 50.
Yes.
Thanks, Matt.
Very cool.
Yeah, we want to do this more often. This hangout kind of thing.
Yeah, it's good fun.
Agreed. Cheers, gentlemen. We'll see you soon.
Thank you for joining us,
Well,
Matt.
Thanks, Matt.
Good to see you again.
Yep. I'm going to be bouncing out too.
Yeah, no worries.
I bet we should let you gentlemen get to bed, maybe.
Yeah, I've still got to write my presentation for my user group meeting tomorrow.
Oh yeah, Kirby's writing it.
It'll be fine.
It'll be fine. Yeah, rock up. Come on, we've all done that before.
I've got to do the awkward thing of ask someone for a laptop because I don't own one anymore.
Yeah, Kirby texted me last week. He goes, "Are you taking your laptop?"
Things like that.
I might just use Theodore's laptop because he'll be hooked up to the sound.
Yeah, it looks a good event you got going on, so.
Doing our regional event tomorrow.
Yeah, I saw that.
So it'll be fun.
You not flying in, Michael?
I'd like to. I've got a few things.
Set off now. You'd just about not be here.
Yeah, no, I don't think I'd make it. I don't.
I'd be in the bar though for you.
I'll be waiting for you.
Yeah, I'm sure Kirby will be waiting in a bar.
Yeah, we all would. No, I think Nashville will be good fun again.
Oh yeah.
I think everybody's looking forward to it. I mean, you guys got to have the little taster of being back together in Boston, but Nashville is going to be great just to be all back together.
Oh yeah, no, we had a good planning lunch. Todd and I, a reimbursement came in for that today too.
Nice. I thought that I had put in some of mine, and just like the Uber and stuff, and I didn't. So last night I put in everything for Beta and Slug Me.
Yeah, it's come through pretty quick. But yeah, no, it was good. It was good to see everybody again after the couple of years, and it was like the last 2.5 years had just faded away.
Well,
I mean, my question for you is: Dan quite beefy? Like, does he walk with watermelons under his arms?
He's built. He's got some guns there.
Gym rat.
and a very nice guy. In real life, not just on screen. No,
on camera.
He's good. He's a good guy, and
when the camera drops, it's just like heckling jive hype.
He's a perfect. As a matter of fact, I think he's a perfect fit for the community.
Yeah, it'll be good to actually hang out with him in real life and that, and
the same with Matt Clegg and all these guys who've come in over the last couple of years. It's they're a perfect fit for the community. They're particularly dedicated. They're knowledgeable.
It's a good crew.
And they want the community really to thrive and get back to where we all were
and help grow.
We all want to get back. Yeah, and I think the worldwide expansion of the community. I think it's great.
Yeah, it's working well.
Yeah, no, I think it's good. It's good. So I don't think they could have made a better choice for with Dan when he came in.
Yeah, he is good people.
He is.
Good people.
Sweet.
All right. Well, I'm gonna let you guys go. I'm gonna have some breakfast. And,
thank you very much for joining us.
Oh, it's always a pleasure.
It's always been good fun.
Yeah, we love hanging out like this, don't we, Kirby?
Yes.
It'll be
all the time.
It'll be nice to do it live in
for sure.
in Nashville.
In person.
It will be. But otherwise, this is always good to chat. It's always good to catch up.
Yes.
Always interesting discussions. You never know where it's going to go.
I love it. It's.
No, we don't either.
I just wherever it goes. And I'm just maybe we'll spoil some secrets.
I don't know if you know, but Dan's having a surprise birthday party the weekend.
Really? I hadn't heard
it.
I
should have got more details and
I know.
We want to crash this thing.
Like an address.
I could just about make it if I left now.
Yeah.
Send out an open invite.
Yeah.
You're off work tomorrow.
No, I'm back to work tomorrow. I'm off work today.
Oh no, you're off work today.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got to put a big day, a big Friday in before the weekend.
I feel a sick day coming on.
It's one of those. I can't
make it in the airport.
I said to the guys in the workshop, I was really surprised the day they announced the public holiday on the Thursday that they didn't all come in the next day and put their leave in for Friday.
Yeah, I know. It's a bit weird.
It is. But then again, we do have a second public holiday the week after, so...
You love a public holiday, don't you guys?
Mate, come on. It's Australia. Any excuse for a holiday. We're not fast. We'll take any we're quite open with our... we'll take any religious holiday we can get. Any community holiday.
You get the Queen's birthday off.
Any death in the family, or someone else's family. That's a good excuse. Come on.
It's the right way to be.
So this one's a bit bizarre, but anyway, we enjoy them while we can. All right, well, I am going to go.
It has been good fun. Thank you for joining us.
Congratulations for making 50. I don't know how that happened, but It's always good to see you guys.
Neither do we. We're just here having a good time.
We just wing it daily.
All right, guys. Thanks very much.
Cheers.
Thanks,
See you later.
It's been a good one, Johnny.
Been some tasty beer tonight, I must say.
You know, I quite enjoyed my Budweiser.
Last one's probably my least favourite, which is disappointing because it's also the biggest.
This went down well.
I like a Camden.
Still trying to convince myself about Elvis juice.
Not a fan.
It's quite a summery drink. I've still got to do this presentation.
Just do it on the train.
And I've got a pack. So what I did yesterday is I got my bag. I'm like, okay. And I started packing like my soundboard and everything to put in my bag. I was like, cool, it all fits. And then I'm like, wait, I've got podcast tomorrow. I'm going to have to back and set this all up again. So I've got to pack all that stuff up as well. But train should be easy.
Yeah, it'll be easy for you, mate, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I've enjoyed tonight.
It has been good fun. If those that are still watching, and if you haven't already, please do like and subscribe. Helps us a lot. Where is our thing?
Where's this button?
Because I moved my camera, it's all like weird and skew. Okay, there we go. If you want to follow me and all the nonsense that I get up to, I am at KJ Designs 365 and everything.
At Castle Run Creations. If you're waiting for me to post, it's probably not going to happen. So
You still haven't posted.
No.
Here's my challenge for you, Johnny. You need to post this week.
Accepted. I think tomorrow is fairly easy to post about something.
Yeah, it'll be quite easy.
Tick.
But if you want to follow us, see when we go live next, and whatever the nonsense we get up to together tomorrow, and any of our plans for world, you can follow us on Instagram. We are at the Core Podcast on Contact. On Facebook, we are at the Core Podcast. I did a fumble. We are at the Core Podcast with Ozazera. On Twitter, we are the Core Podcast. Here on YouTube and on TikTok, we are the Core Podcast.
Winner,
chicken dinner. 50 episodes, Johnny.
Tick it off.
Yes.
Cha-ching.
Almost. We're halfway to 100.
Yeah, boy.
Next week, we cross-stitch. I'm still going to get you to cross-stitch, Johnny.
You love a bit of cross-stitching now. I'm concerned for you.
I've been having good fun. Like, I thought maybe I could try and do a bit tonight, but
it's been too busy.
It's been a busy one, and it's been a great one.
I'm glad, man. We had 8 people at once. That was more than I expected, so I'm happy.
It worked out well.
Worked out well.
Yeah, yeah, Matt Clegg, if you're still listening, he messaged me in the first 5 minutes.
I saw. Sorry, Matt. I might have missed you off an email. That's my bad.
I just saw that. I was like, oh, Matt Clegg emailed me, and then I just carried on.
Do you know why, Kirby? Because I copied the invite list from World, but Matt wasn't here in World.
Ah, there it is. There it is.
Or he was just here from memory.
Yes, he did hop in. It was fantastic. Thank you very much for everybody that's joined us tonight. This has been awesome. Like, it's blown me away how good this was. 2 years ago. We've been doing this for 2 years.
I know.
God, looking at our first episode. Holy. I was in a cave. You had printers.
Your lighting was horrendous. I still have printers. They're just in a different place.
Yeah, it's just your boring white wall.
That's Star Wars original art, I'll have you know. That is Macquarie.
That's
You asked.
Star Wars as well. Like
Lego. Let go my Lego.
Lego my ego. All right, where's this button? Thank you very much for everybody that's joined us. We'll see you guys in the next one.
Yeah, boy.
Bye.